Hey guys, CDTVThaG here, and the G of course stands for G, which stands for G, which stands for G, which actually stands for G. And today we're going to be reacting to the new album from Lil Skies, which is called Shelby, which I believe is the name of his mother, so that's nice. It might be a nice little sentimental album here. I mean, it's got a song called Bad Girls featuring Gucci Mane, so I assume not, but nonetheless, I'm hoping it'll be pretty great. For those of you who don't know, because I don't think I've reacted to Lil Skies on this channel before, he is probably one of my most listened to rappers in like the past year, just because his music is so ridiculously easy to listen to. It's good to listen to in a lot of situations. So yeah, I'd definitely say I'm quite a fan of his music. I did quite enjoy his Life of a Dark Rose album, his last one, but I do feel like he kind of fell victim to making a lot of the songs sound very similar on that project, whether it was the beats or the flows remaining very samey throughout the songs. I hope we don't get that on here. I'm also very happy about the fact that there's only one song I've heard on this before the album came out, and that's Name in the Sand. In the past year or so, he's been releasing a bunch of singles, so I was thinking a lot of those would be on his next album, and I'm happy to see that they're not, because it's always good to get a bunch of new songs that you haven't heard before on a project. And of course, there's a goddamn Gunna feature. Why is he everywhere? Let's not waste any more time. Track number 1, which is called I.
One time, just a little bit.
The music is just so smooth and relaxing, man. Makes me happy.
I don't wanna get close. I haven't been the same since I love that hoe. I haven't been the same since I lost my bro. I say I'm gonna change when I know I won't. Shine so bright in a world so dark. Break the bank, I'ma break the chalk. Never hanging with the lames. I'm not the one for the stupid shit. We shot a scene on some movie shit. I haven't been the same since I lost.
It's weird because I really don't feel like there's a lot to say about it, but I really enjoy it. There's not really that much to pick apart about it, but I did really enjoy how it sounded. It was a nice kind of laid back track. Some depressing lyrics thrown in there, but nothing like too heavy. The thing is with Skies, I've seen a lot of people call Lil Skies like a super kind of generic artist, or very just standard, you know, not really going above and beyond what the standard is in rap music nowadays. And I can agree with that in a lot of aspects, but I guess that's why I like it right now. You know, yeah, it's not exactly pushing boundaries or anything, but it was an enjoyable song. I liked it. What I'm going to be looking out for right now is kind of like why this album is named after his mother, like if there's any actual reason for it, because she wasn't mentioned at all on this track, and considering it's the intro, I thought she might have been. Maybe she'll come up later in the album. I guess we'll just sit around and see what happens. So track number 2, Bad Girls featuring Gucci Mane. I'm not the biggest Gucci fan from what I've heard, but I liked what he did on Offset's album. I thought his feature there, he just sounded like he was having a good time on his verse. There is some Gucci Mane verses that I like, and hopefully he'll have one of those on here, so let's go.
I like good girls, these bad girls, they not meant for me. You get one shot, don't fuck it up, turn to my enemy. Girl, it's not my energy, so get the fuck away from me.
I'm liking the sound of the beat on this one so far, but those kind of like sparkling kind of bell sounds. I don't really feel like the hook Skies came through with on this one though matches the kind of tone or the energy of the beat. His hook was very much just kind of like monotone auto-tune, and I don't think it fits the almost very happy sound that the beat has.
Taking my time, they talking shit through the vine. Don't let it get to my mind, chills down the spine. She play it back like rewind. I see the heights and I climb. She's a good girl, she do what I say so. We both grind.
Is that what defines a good girl? Yeah, it's an alright song, but I don't really feel like it's going anywhere too captivating with it so far.
Woke up in a big old white mansion, I make Obama moves. If you be good to be Gucci, then I'll be good to you. I'm not too hood for you, baby, I'm just not into you. I don't want no
Gucci laying it down hard on her.
big old white diamond choker, I think I'm Casanova. This ain't no of you, lady, you asking crazy questions.
Another Gucci Mane verse that I liked on here. What's going on? What's going on? Right. What's going on here? I'm surprised that I'm liking a lot of Gucci Mane verses recently. Well, not a lot. It's just I liked his verse on Offset's album, and I really like Gucci's verse on here. I feel like he actually added a lot of charisma to the track, which is usually what I feel like he takes away from the track. He had some funny lines, you know, I'm not too hood for you, baby, I'm just not into you. Gucci laying it down on these thoughts. If there's any really good Gucci Mane solo albums that you think I should check out, because I've never listened to a full album from him before, drop some suggestions down in the comments below. Maybe I've been sleeping on him this whole time. As for Skies, I just feel like he didn't do a whole lot with the production on here. Like, that hook sounded like it could have been thrown over like so many other beats. It didn't really sound like Lil Skies was working with the beat that much, because the beat adds so much more of a melody to it. It's more the beat carried the chorus rather than the chorus working with the beat, you know? In terms of the verse, I feel like that was also just very simplistic, you know, very short lines, just said one by one, not really any interesting kind of cadence to it. Not an awful song, you know, I'm gonna come back to it, especially for that Gucci verse, because I just find what he did like really entertaining on here. So up next we have track number 3, which is titled Breathe.
I can't sleep.
Ooh, okay. Ooh, yeah. Okay, this is some shit that I want. Okay. That beat just fired right off. That's the kind of shit I want to hear from Skies. Something even as simple as that, like the way the chorus was mixed with that kind of filter thrown over his voice, it gives the track its own unique sound. And the way he was singing on the chorus actually sounded really cool as well.
This in my phone, he said the pack is on the way. Said I will start smoking, then I take one to the face.
The way this verse started though sounds very familiar.
I'm a lonely stoner, but for her I made a change.
Oh, that flow. See, that is one of my main issues with Lil Skies songs. So many of the flows and cadences sound alike.
I'm a lonely stoner, but for her I made a change.
That's about you were talking down, but you just look like a disgrace. Yeah, that flow he just did there, that sounds like the flow from No Rest. And that's a very recent song.
When the rain starts pouring, everything comes out.
Nice harmonizing there. I love when Lil Skies harmonizes, so.
No, you're my boo girl.
Even though the verses do sound kind of formulaic to me, that chorus is gonna bring me back to this song. Whoa, that was nice. Oh, okay, it's not over, sorry. The chorus and the production on this one, man, they really kind of made this song for me. They made it something that I'm gonna come back to very often. I love the way that hook sounds. That's gonna be stuck in my head. With the chorus on the last song, one of my main complaints was that it was just kind of monotone, auto-tuned, just going with the motions, whatever. This one, it felt like he was trying something, you know? He was trying to hit some different kind of range, I guess. Overall, I just think it's a nice, short, replayable song. I hope that issue I had with the first verse doesn't crop up a whole lot on this album. Even though it did crop up on this song, this is still my favorite song on the project so far, so can I even complain about it that much? I don't know. So up next, we have the track that drew my eyes the most when I looked at this track list. Number 4, which is Nowadays Part 2, featuring Landon Cube. I played the frack out of Nowadays. Oh my god, I listened to that song so goddamn much. There's something about just the certain parts during the hook that he harmonizes that makes it sound just, it gets stuck in your head. It's an infectious chorus. I think Landon Cube is fantastic on it. So I'm really curious to see where they take this one. Is it a reversed version of the beat? Is that it? I can't really tell, but it might be. Oh, you hear that really kind of like high-pitched harmonizing he does at the very end of each line? He does that on a lot of his songs, and I don't know, it just really adds to how catchy they are. I don't know what it is specifically about it, but I love it.
Sacrifices made me the man that I am. If I had to do it, I would go back and do it again. Now it's not a problem, cause I made my mama rich.
There's the first mention of his mom there.
Nowadays, I'm just selling out these shows. She tell me that she love me cause I am a dark rose. I can't meet me on the side, we fly. The wood and close my eyes, I'm so high. Take me when I was on the floor, yeah. I need clothes, I need rest.
I really enjoyed that one. Like I said, it's just those intermittent harmonies that he throws in that make the songs just so catchy. But yeah, I liked how everything sounded on here, and just like I mentioned, it's especially those beat drops. I think stuff like that can just really make a song 10 times catchier than it already is if you use them correctly. You can't just throw them in anywhere, it has to be in the right place and they have to be done well, but that's what this track did. Landon Cube, I think I need a few more listens to decide if I really enjoy his verse a lot on this one because he was actually my favorite part of Red Roses. I really liked him on the original version of Nowadays. I don't think I like that one as much as Nowadays or Red Roses. But I guess for lack of a better word, his verse sounded a little kind of scattered. Overall, again, another song that I really enjoyed on here. So yeah, let's go on to the next one, track number 5, which is called Flooded. Well, this one's very short, under 2 minutes.
They say I got next, nigga, I got now. I flooded my Patek, my wrist is bust.
Patek, why?
My whip is like a spaceship, it's like 10 feet off the ground. The plug don't speak no English, all he do is give me pounds. I'ma grab
nice little bit of wordplay there.
Miss me with that weak shit, ain't no talking, ho. Let's get right to it. Nigga thought I was a bitch and wasn't living all of my music. Never know why they hating, trying to get the best of me. In the yo, cooking with a master recipe. They said I got next, nigga, I got now. I flooded my Patek, my wrist is bust out.
Okay, so that one was just an incredibly short, up-tempo track with pretty much no autotune across the verse, which was nice. Nice to get a little change up. And I do really feel like that made Skies give us a little bit of a different flow, because when he does the autotune melodic stuff, I feel like sometimes there are certain flows he likes to default to. But he doesn't really do that when he's rapping, which is cool. And again, I feel like I could come back to that a lot because it's under 2 minutes long. So I feel like if there was another verse on that song, maybe it would feel like it dragged out for a bit too long, but it's honestly the perfect length for what it is. So up next we have track number 6, which is Blue Strips.
Take them out like Hardy, we like to break necks. On an island, we party straight off the private jet beam. I left that nigga stuck, he can't roll with the posse. He tried to stun on us, but that boy ain't nobody. Smoking like Bob Marley, all of my niggas gnarly. We probably take it shawty.
This flow sounds familiar as well. Why do all these songs sound like they're about to end and then just the drums fully kick in again? That one did feel quite like filler to me, honestly. You know that monotone auto-tune thing I talked about on Bad Girls that he did on the chorus there? That's essentially what this whole song was. Didn't go anywhere exciting with it. And again, a whole lot of this just sounded super familiar, but I couldn't exactly pin down where I'd heard it before. Don't have much to say about it other than I felt like that track was honestly just a bit of filler. Okay, up next. Track number 7, the one that I have been dreading. Stop the Madness, featuring Gunna. Why are you on every single album? Can I not escape you?
Ooh, stop the madness. I stand on my enemies. It can't get tragic. They hate me, but low key try to take all my swag. I'm the wrong one. You got me fucked up. I said I wouldn't drink tonight, but damn it, I got fucked up. You say you was down to rob, but time came and you switched up.
Stuff like that. See, if that was on the last track, that would have stood out so much more. That flow and that delivery switch to this aggressive autotune sound there, and I like that.
Now I'm never broke. Ooh, stop the madness.
Oh no, I'm actually not happy about the fact I'm liking this song so far, because I just have that impending feeling of doom that is Gunna. He's like a... Oh. That's what every white rapper does in their music videos. Watch out for it. They just go like that on every beat drop. But what I was about to say there before I did the white rapper arm pump thing, Gunna's just like this cloud just looming over my head that I know is about to rain on me, and I'm just waiting for it.
Well, I want one. I come to your front door, make you scream like encore.
Nah, that's the flow from I Know You. I'm in a spaceship, get ready for takeoff. It's the same cadence again.
15,000 on a coat. Make on the inside when I get cold. She just know whenever we fuck, I break her back in. Have fun with all this money, oh, I can't stop laughing.
Again, with the beat stopping and then, god damn it, Gunna didn't completely ruin that track. I'm surprised. He actually fit the vibe of this track a lot more than I thought he would, because Gunna, I pretty much know him for having a very lethargic sound. You know, his voice doesn't have a whole lot of character to it. Gunna, you get a pass on this one. You get a pass on this one. Lil Skies, I think the main thing I liked was his verses here, especially when his vocals really kind of popped out with that autotune. That was like my favorite part of the song, even though, again, he used the flow from I Know You on the second verse. But overall, yeah, I like the song. The chorus was cool on this one. I felt like it was another one of those slightly monotone autotune ones, but I think the way it was mixed really helped it out, and the beat on this one was hard as hell, man. That's the interesting thing though. I think every single track so far has pretty much been a banger. Maybe not Breathe. I don't know, Breathe still had elements of a banger in there. So I'm interested to see as this goes on, if there's going to be more Name in the Sand type stuff where it's more slowed down, emotional. I hope there is more of that, but it doesn't take away from the fact that I'm really enjoying this so far. The only track I've disliked was Blue Strips, and that's it. Track number 8, Okay For Now. And this one, it sounds like it might already be a bit slower, like I mentioned. I love this stuff he does as well, where you can hear his vocals in the background, like he kind of previews the hook.
I guess it's okay for now. Put my pride to the side, don't wanna let you down. Take my heart and crush it, leave it splattered on the ground.
Background vocals as well.
Where did we go wrong? Seems like everything changed. Shawty used to be my main thing. Let her walk with me on the stage.
Punch that boy in his shit, Johnny Cage. What's that song? Signs of Jealousy. That's the Signs of Jealousy flow.
I can't stand when you lie to my face. Texting back, be like, give me my space. All alone like I'm locked in a cage.
Yeah, it's the Signs of Jealousy flow.
If you try to take me down, I might have to take you out. I was always feeling down. I was always feeling down.
It is starting to get a little annoying to me now that I can, you know, just constantly say that these sound like other songs, because that was 100% the Signs of Jealousy flow, like almost to a T. Text them back, be like, give me my space, get my money, then go out the way. That's from 2 different songs, 2 lines put together from 2 different songs, and it's the exact same rhythm to it. So even though he was putting a little bit more emotion into it, it was hard to focus on because the flow came from a different song. Again, that's a chorus that's going to get stuck in my head, and I liked what he did with the background vocals on it, with the way they were kind of almost distorted or like noise gated in a way, so they sound very kind of raw almost. In terms of the actual verse, I didn't really like where he went with the verse on this one. Everything else in the song was solid, but the verse really did hold that one back for me. Up next, track number 9, When I'm Wasted. Oh. Here's one with a little bit of a different production sound.
I don't wanna hear your lies, I'm too faded. I don't wanna take your calls when I'm wasted. I put my Mac down, I put the top up. She has Chanel on, them hoes masters. Okay, girl, let's put this thing in motion. She like the way I go and I be in it like a Trojan. I don't wanna hear your lies, I'm too faded. I don't wanna take your
Those kicks are so punchy. I don't have a whole lot to say about that song. I kind of enjoyed it. I don't know if it's something I'm gonna come back to a whole lot. It was a decent song. I don't really have a lot to say about it, honestly. So yeah, let's move on to the next one, track number 10, which is called Mansion.
Only bad hoes in my mansion, huh? My diamonds dancing, catch your body like Charles Manson, huh? Watch them all panic. I 8 doors up, I pull up, making the scene. All these bitches all on me, you know I'm drip to the T. That's right, give me head like light skinny.
Could you compare head to anything less appealing? Give me head like lice? Bruh.
My soda full of medicine and get me through the night.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna come back to that track a whole lot. I did like the drums on it. I thought the drums were pretty dope. But that up-tempo, hard-hitting drum pattern, that was cool. I could appreciate the fact that it didn't sound like too many other songs on the album. You know, there wasn't any other hooks that sounded like this so far, so that is good. That's good that it sounds a little bit different. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna come back to that much. So up next, we have track number 11, Through the Motions. Oh. Why does this one sound more like Nowadays than Nowadays Part 2?
Going through the motions, I'm just trying to make it through. Hard to keep in touch when I'm always on the move. If you wasn't by my side, would I be able to move? But it's okay, you don't need to worry. Tell them niggas stop me, I forgot the party. They used to count me out, but now they wanna count me in. Like my mans, and my pocket stuffing them bands. Got fans on Japan, I'm just doing what I plan. Now people like what I'm saying. It's a lituation. I'm a little faded.
A lituation. Did you say my main takeaway from this this song was it's a lituation apparently? But yeah, this was another song that I would just say is alright. I do like Lil Skies. I do like his music a lot, but I do feel like it's just slowly kind of starting to lose its impact as the album goes on. Track number 12, Highs and Lows.
And lately I've been a mess. I really think that I'm depressed. You try to tell me not to worry when you know and I be stressed. When I die, I hope they all sing along. I ain't do it for the fame, I just did it cause I had to be strong. Nobody was helping me or my mom. Haters see me win, now they mad and in they feelings. Age of 19 when I touched my first million. I can't explain to
That's
you
impressive.
where I gotta go. I'm really stuck in my zone. Working hard, barely keeping control. Through this life, see its highs and its lows.
That's a track that definitely reminded me a bit more of tracks like Welcome to the Rodeo or Life, where it's Lil Skies telling a bit more of his story and he's just rapping on it. It stood out from the rest of the album. A lot of this has been, you know, a lot of bangers and that kind of stuff, very focused on the auto-tune style that he does. It was cool to hear a track that didn't really feature any, well, not any obvious auto-tune anyway. Just straight up Lil Skies and, you know, telling us a little bit of his story and where he came from, why he wanted to succeed. And, you know, it's good that he did it now. Like he said, 19 years old when he touched his first million, which is incredible. Highs and Lows was good. So up next, the second last track on the album, one that I've already heard, obviously, so I'm not going to put much of a reaction in here. It's Name in the Sand. I'm super happy that Skies seems to like this song a lot. You know, he's really like pushing it because he made a music video for it like months after it came out on SoundCloud. And now he's putting it on this album as well. And I think that's great because when this song came out, I loved it so much. It's one of the best Lil Skies songs in my opinion. I love Name in the Sand so much. Let's get into it.
You gotta move on from the past and show yourself you're strong. I ain't trying to preach too much, I'm trying to let you know.
Love this song so much, man. I love it.
Know that we gon' catch your eye when we walk by, but they know she all mine. This is all mine.
I feel like that one came at a time where it felt like Skies was dropping a lot of songs that weren't really hitting that hard, just kind of dropping these singles back to back that honestly didn't sound too impressive. And then Name in the Sand comes out and it's like, whoa, okay, this is something different. Let's go to the last track on Shelby, track number 14, No Rainy Days. Sounds like this one's gonna be a bit more upbeat to close it out. Oh, okay.
No, we gotta get it one way, some way. I'm a superstar, get the fuck out my face. Oh, I ain't worried about opinions, really did this for my foes, and that's why I made a way on no rainy day.
I like these happy songs from Skies though. They make me feel so good, man. They made me feel so good. Very fitting way to close out the album. You know, closing it on an upbeat note, closing it on a positive note. That chorus literally just puts a smile on my face. It makes me feel so happy. Yet again, with the first verse, there was definitely a flow that sounded like. But overall, I do really like the song. And again, it's one that I'm gonna replay a lot, mainly for the chorus and the instrumental. This is going on my playlist for upbeat songs. Now let's talk about my overall thoughts on Shelby by Lil Skies. First thought in my head right now, I'm not 100% sure why it's called Shelby, unless he just wanted to do that because his mum really likes his music maybe, and this was just a bunch of songs that he thought she would enjoy, because she wasn't really mentioned that much on here. She was mentioned on some of the tracks, but not a whole lot of them. And I don't know, I thought when her name was in the title and she's on the cover and everything, I figured it would be something completely dedicated to her. And it's fine that it's not. I was just trying to figure out like why it's called Shelby. So overall, I guess only time is going to tell if this is an album with replay value, if this is one I'm going to come back to a lot. Because right now I'm not sure if it will. Because like I said, looking back on it, I can't actually remember how a lot of the tracks sounded, because a lot of them went for up-tempo drums. A lot of them went for that low-key auto-tune. But you guys know I always like to say what my favorite tracks were and least favorite tracks at the end of the video. That's why I'm trying to remember what these songs sound like so I can do my favorite tracks, but I can't fully remember. From memory, my favorite tracks were Breathe, Flooded one of my favorites, I can't remember. Stop the Madness, which was pretty good despite Gunna. Highs and Lows, Name in the Sand obviously, and No Rainy Days. I think least favorite tracks, I think I could do that pretty easily. Blue Strips, maybe When I'm Wasted, but I don't know. I think I did quite enjoy this project, you know, it is definitely enjoyable, and like I said, I think there's a lot of songs that I can pull out of this and put onto my playlists and stuff like that. But let's talk about the criticisms I have of this album as a whole real quick, because while I did like it, there's a few issues that I wish weren't present on it, and there is stuff that I personally think Lil Skies needs to improve on for future releases. Obviously, this is just my opinion. My opinion doesn't count for shit, but just as a listener, this is kind of like what I'd like to hear more or less of going forward. The repeated flows. You know, there's a lot of songs on here where the flow patterns or the rhythm of the flow is exactly the same or incredibly similar to flows he's used before. That's one of the main things that held back Life of a Dark Rose for me, and it does hold back this project a little bit as well because it's super noticeable. On certain songs, it was my main takeaway from those songs because I just couldn't get past how similar they sounded to songs that Skies has already made. Also, this isn't really necessarily a big issue, but something I just want to point out, I definitely got more songs out of the first half than the second half on here. So overall, this album is really one that I'm going to have to listen to more and more to really see if it kind of stands the test of time, because at the moment, I'm not very sure, but as you can see, like throughout, I definitely enjoyed listening to them in the moment. I just don't know if it's something that's really gonna last for me. Who knows, maybe after more listens, I'm gonna like it more and more, and there's gonna be more and more songs that I come back to. Only time will tell. and I guess we'll see. That's pretty much my thoughts on Shelby by Lil Skies. What do you guys think about this project? Let me know down in the comments below. Of course, I would really appreciate you subscribing and turning on notifications if you want to be notified whenever I upload a new reaction. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys all in the next one, and this is CDTVThaG, signing out.